Aging is often seen as a battle, something to resist with every wrinkle cream and health supplement. But what if we told you that turning 70 isn't the end of youth, but the beginning of true wisdom? In Buddhism, aging is not a curse. It's a privilege. It's a doorway to deeper understanding, greater peace, and a new kind of freedom. In our younger years, we chase success, wealth, relationships, and recognition. But as the years go by, we start to realize that many of the things we once obsessed over don't really matter. Instead, a new clarity emerges, one that aligns perfectly with Buddhist wisdom. When you reach 70, the illusions fade, and 9 profound truths become crystal clear. These truths help you live with more peace, joy, and fulfillment in your later years. Have you ever noticed how older monks radiate a calm, unshakable peace? It's because they've embraced these Buddhist truths that aging reveals. From the power of letting go to the beauty of stillness, from the illusion of material wealth to the true meaning of happiness, this is the wisdom that transforms old age into something extraordinary. If you've ever felt lost or worried about aging, don't be. Instead, get ready to see the years ahead in a whole new light. By the end of this video, you'll understand why reaching 70 is not something to fear, but something to look forward to. Let's explore the 9 life-changing truths that become clear after 70, and how they can make your journey through old age a joyful, enlightened one. 1. Letting go brings freedom. When you reach 70, something amazing happens. You finally understand that holding on only creates suffering. All your life you've carried burdens, past mistakes, old grudges, regrets about what could have been. But now you start to see the truth. None of it matters anymore. The only thing that truly brings peace is letting go. Buddhism teaches that attachment is the root of suffering. The more you cling to people, to expectations, to material things, the more pain you invite into your life. Think about it. How many sleepless nights have you spent replaying old arguments in your head? How much time have you wasted worrying about things you couldn't control? But at 70, you begin to realize that life is too short to carry unnecessary weight. You don't have time to dwell on the past or stress about the future. The only thing that matters is your peace of mind, and that peace comes when you finally decide to release what no longer serves you. Imagine your mind is like a house filled with clutter. Old memories, disappointments, fears. They take up space, making it hard to move freely. But the moment you start clearing it out, everything feels lighter. Suddenly, you have room to breathe, to enjoy life, to experience happiness without the heaviness of the past dragging you down. This is why Buddhist monks seem so at peace. They've mastered the art of letting go. They understand that freedom doesn't come from having more. It comes from needing less. So, as you step into this stage of life, ask yourself, what are you still holding on to that you no longer need? Let it go, and watch how much lighter, freer, and happier you become. 2. Simplicity is the key to happiness. By the time you reach 70, you start to see life differently. In your younger years, happiness seemed tied to success, possessions, and status. You worked hard, bought things, chased achievements, thinking they would bring lasting joy. But now, with decades of experience behind you, the truth becomes clear. The more you simplify, the happier you become. Buddhism has always taught that simplicity leads to peace. The Buddha himself lived with almost nothing: a simple robe, a bowl, and a place to sleep. Yet he was the happiest person in the world. Why? Because true happiness doesn't come from accumulating more, it comes from needing less. The older you get, the more you realize that material things bring temporary pleasure, but they don't fill the soul. The big house, the expensive car, the overflowing closet. They might have excited you once, but now they just feel like extra weight. What really matters is having a peaceful mind, a warm meal, and people you love around you. Look at the happiest elderly people. They aren't the ones obsessed with what they own. They're the ones who have learned to appreciate the simple things. Good health, a quiet morning, a heartfelt conversation. Instead of cluttering your life with distractions, Focus on what truly brings you joy. Let go of the unnecessary, clear out what doesn't serve you, and embrace the beauty of simplicity. Because at the end of the day, happiness isn't about having everything. It's about appreciating what you already have. When you simplify, you free yourself from stress, anxiety, and the never-ending desire for more. And in that space of simplicity, true peace is found. 3. The present moment is all that matters. By the time you reach 70, you start to understand something that younger people struggle. You start to understand something that younger people struggle with. Life is happening right now. Not in the past, not in the future, but in this very moment. For most of your life, you've either been looking back, thinking about things you should have done differently, or looking forward, worrying about what's next. But at this stage, you begin to see that neither the past nor the future really exists. The only thing that is real is now. Buddhism teaches that suffering comes from living anywhere but the present. The past is just a collection of memories, and no matter how much you dwell on it, you can't change it. The future is unpredictable, no matter how much you plan. But the present, the moment you are in right now, is something you can fully experience. And when you do, life suddenly feels richer. A simple cup of tea becomes an experience. A short walk outside feels like a blessing. Conversations feel deeper because you are truly there instead of being lost in thoughts about yesterday or tomorrow. How much of your life has been spent worrying about things that never even happened, or regretting things that don't even matter anymore? But at 70, you see the truth. Time is precious, and the best way to live is to be fully present. So let go of the past. Stop stressing about the future and focus on the now. Whether you're eating, talking, walking, or simply sitting in silence, be fully there. Because when you truly live in the present, every moment becomes meaningful, and every day feels like a gift. 4. Your mind is the architect of your reality. By the time you reach 70, you begin to realize something profound. Your entire experience of life is shaped by your mind. The way you think, what you focus on, and how you interpret events determine whether you live in peace or in suffering. Two people can go through the exact same situation, yet one will feel miserable while the other remains calm. Why? Because happiness and suffering don't come from the outside world. They come from within. Buddhism teaches that the mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant in it will grow. If you fill it with negative thoughts, fears, and complaints, your life will feel heavy and full of struggle. But if you cultivate thoughts of gratitude, kindness, and acceptance, your reality transforms. At 70, you've seen enough to know that external circumstances are always changing. Money comes and goes, people enter and leave your life, health shifts. But the one thing you can always control is how you respond. Have you ever met an elderly person who is always bitter and complaining? And another who, despite facing the same difficulties, radiates peace and joy? The difference isn't luck, it's mindset. If you constantly dwell on what's wrong, life will always feel like a burden. But if you train your mind to focus on what's good, even the smallest moments become beautiful. So as you continue this journey, remember, your mind is powerful. If you master your thoughts, you master your life. You don't need to chase happiness outside. It has always been within you, waiting for you to notice. 5. True. Wealth is your inner peace. By the time you reach 70, you start to see wealth differently. When you were younger, wealth meant money, success, and material possessions. You worked hard, saved, and maybe even worried about having enough. But now, after decades of chasing, you realize something shocking. Real wealth has nothing to do with money. True wealth is peace of mind. Without it, even the richest person in the world is poor. Buddhism teaches that external wealth is temporary. Money comes and goes. Possessions break, get lost, or become meaningless over time. But inner peace? That stays with you no matter what. Think about it. What good is a luxurious home if your mind is filled with stress and anxiety? What good is a fat bank account if you can't sleep at night? At 70, you begin to understand that the people who are truly rich are not the ones with the most money, but the ones who wake up without worries, who go to bed with a light heart, and who have nothing heavy weighing on their soul. Have you ever met an old man with nothing but a small house and simple meals, yet he radiates happiness? And then you see millionaires who are constantly stressed, never satisfied, and always chasing more. The difference isn't in what they have, it's in what they feel. Inner peace comes from letting go of unnecessary desires, accepting life as it is, and appreciating what you already have. When you have peace of mind, every meal feels like a feast, every day feels like a blessing, and every moment feels like a gift. And that, more than anything, is the kind of wealth worth having. 6. The people you surround yourself with matter more than you think. By the time you reach 70, you start to see something you might have overlooked in your younger years. Who you spend your time with shapes your happiness, your peace, and even your health. You've lived long enough to know that some people drain your energy while others lift you up. Some bring constant drama, negativity, and complaints, while others bring laughter, wisdom, and warmth. And at this stage of life, you no longer have the patience for the wrong company. Buddhism teaches that the people around you are like mirrors. They reflect and influence your state of mind. If you constantly surround yourself with those who gossip, complain, or dwell on problems, their energy will seep into you. You'll find yourself more anxious, more irritated, and more stressed without even knowing why. But if you choose to spend time with those who radiate kindness, peace, and wisdom, their energy lifts you up. You feel lighter, happier, and more at peace just by being around them. How many times have you left a conversation feeling exhausted, as if someone just dumped their problems onto you? And how many times have you walked away from a simple talk feeling inspired, recharged, and even joyful? The difference isn't in the topic. It's in the person. At 70, you realize life is too short to waste on negativity. Protect your energy. Spend time with those who bring peace into your life, who make you laugh, who remind you of the beauty in simple things. Because at the end of the day, happiness isn't just about what you do. It's about who you choose to share your time with. 7. Time is the most valuable currency. By the time you reach 70, you finally understand the biggest truth of all. Time is the most valuable thing you have. When you were younger, you traded time for money, success, or approval. You thought you had plenty of time to do the things you truly wanted. But now, looking back, you see that time was never unlimited. Every moment that passed was a moment you could never get back. Buddhism teaches that impermanence is the nature of life. Everything changes and nothing lasts forever. Not your youth, not your opportunities, not even the people around you. When you understand this deeply, you stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop holding grudges, stop chasing after meaningless goals, stop worrying about things outside your control. Instead, you start living fully in each moment, appreciating the simple joys you once overlooked. Think about all the things people waste time on: arguing over small things, stressing about the opinions of others, chasing things that don't bring real happiness. At 70, you see the truth. None of it was ever worth your time. What was worth it? The laughter with loved ones, the peaceful moments of solitude, the experiences that filled your heart, not just your schedule. You realize that time is not something you spend, it's something you invest. And the best investment is in moments that bring you peace, love, and wisdom. So if you're still caught up in things that steal your time, stress, meaningless distractions, negative people, let them go. Because time is the only thing you can't earn back. Make sure every moment you have left is truly worth it. 8. Gratitude turns everything into enough. By the time you reach 70, you start to see that happiness isn't about having more. It's about appreciating what you already have. When you were younger, you always wanted the next big thing: a better job, a bigger house, more recognition. But now, after decades of chasing, you realize that nothing outside of you ever truly made you happy. What did? Gratitude. The simple act of recognizing what you already have and knowing that it's enough. Buddhism teaches that suffering comes from always wanting more. The mind says, I'll be happy when, but that moment never comes. There's always something else to chase. But at 70, you start to notice the small joys you once overlooked. A quiet morning with a cup of tea, the laughter of a grandchild, the warmth of the sun on your face. These moments were always there, but you were too busy thinking about what was missing. Now, you finally see the truth. Gratitude turns even the simplest life into a rich one. Look at the happiest elderly people. They aren't the ones with the most money or achievements. They are the ones who wake up every day feeling thankful for what they have. They understand that life itself is the greatest gift. So, if you want to be happy, stop looking at what you lack and start appreciating what you already have. Because once you do, you'll realize you've had enough all along. 9. Letting go is the secret to peace. By the time you reach 70, you realize that most of life's pain doesn't come from what happens to you. It comes from what you refuse to let go of. The regrets, the grudges, the disappointments. These things weigh on you, not because they exist, but because you keep carrying them. At this stage, you see the truth. Peace isn't found in fixing the past or controlling the future. It's found in letting go. Buddhism teaches that attachment is the root of suffering. We hold on to expectations, people, and past mistakes, believing they define us. But in reality, they only trap us. The happiest elderly people are not the ones who have had the easiest lives. They are the ones who have learned to release what no longer serves them. They forgive instead of holding grudges. They accept instead of resisting. They understand that everything, even pain, eventually fades when you stop clinging to it. How much time have you wasted replaying old conversations, holding on to anger, or wishing things had been different? Now imagine how light you would feel if you simply let it all go. At 70, you finally understand that peace is not about fixing everything. It's about freeing yourself from the need to do so. So, if you want to be truly happy, learn this now. Release the past. Stop trying to control the future, and allow yourself to simply be. That's where real peace begins. Aging is a gift, not a curse. These 9 truths can help you embrace it with wisdom, joy, and peace. The real question is, which of these truths speaks to you the most? Let us know in the comments. And if this wisdom resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe for more life-changing insights.